Imagine paying less for a luxury Mercedes than someone just paid for a used Honda Civic. Sounds impossible, but that's exactly what's happening right now. That's not a typo, that's depreciation working in your favor. Most buyers never figure this out. They either overpay for a reliable economy car or get scared away from luxury brands by horror stories that don't even apply anymore. Today, you're getting 10 cars that deliver real luxury, leather, tech, road presence for under $10,000. Number 4 has a backstory about a company that lost billions just to build one perfect car. And number 1 comes with a depreciation number so brutal, it's actually good news for you. Let's start the countdown. Number 10, Mercedes-Benz E-Class, 2010 to 2014. Picture pulling into a 5-star hotel valet stand in this thing. The doorman opens your door like you're somebody. Nobody in that line believes the sedan in front of them costs less than 10 grand. And that's the entire magic trick of the Mercedes-Benz E-Class. That 3-pointed star still carries weight nobody questions, even 15 years and 200,000 miles later. Inside, it smells like old leather and quiet money, the kind of cabin that makes a commute feel like an occasion instead of a chore. The E350's naturally aspirated V6 is the version to chase. Simpler, tougher, and far less likely to bankrupt you than the turbocharged engines Mercedes builds today. There's a real ownership pride here too. People notice the badge before they notice the paint chips, and that changes how a car makes you feel every single time you get behind the wheel. The trade-off is honest. Parts and labor cost more than a Camry the day something finally breaks, so a pre-purchase inspection is the price of admission, not a suggestion. But sit in that driver's seat once, feel how the door shuts with a bank vault thud, and you'll understand why people keep buying these long after the warranty expires. Coming in at number 9, a Japanese sedan that quietly outlasts everything on this list. Number 9, Lexus ES, 2007 to 2012. Here's a fun fact that surprises almost everyone. Mechanics buy this car for themselves, not the flashy stuff sitting on their own lifts. The Lexus ES shares its bones with a Toyota Camry, and instead of feeling like a downgrade, that turns out to be the entire secret. Lexus engineers spent years obsessing over sound insulation on this generation, layering in extra glass and dampening material until the cabin felt sealed off from the outside world. Drop the windows on the highway and you'll barely hear the wind, just a low, satisfying hum. That silence becomes addictive. Owners describe road trips in this car the way people describe a good pair of noise-canceling headphones. Once you experience it, everything else feels loud and cheap by comparison. There's no dramatic story here, no scandal, no near bankruptcy, just quiet, stubborn competence that keeps running long after flashier luxury cars have bled their owners dry in repair bills. That's its own kind of pride. You're not buying a car people whisper about at car meets. You're buying the one that's still on the road in 10 years while everyone else's has already been scrapped. There's a certain satisfaction in that kind of ownership pride, the quiet confidence of knowing you made the smart choice while everyone else chased the badge. Up next at number 8, a sedan that fooled an entire generation into thinking it was European. Number 8, Chrysler 300, 2011 to 2016. Here's the shock value moment. People regularly mistake this car for a Bentley. Genuinely, park a Chrysler 300 outside a restaurant and watch strangers do a double take at that massive chrome grille. Because Chrysler's designers built it to echo Bentley's front end on purpose, and it worked better than anyone expected. That's not an accident, that's a heist. This is a full-size American sedan with a low, wide stance and a driving position that makes you feel like you're piloting something twice its price. Slide into a higher trim and the stitched leather, the ambient lighting, the sheer physical size of the cabin. It doesn't feel like a rental fleet special, it feels like a rival. The V6 models are the sweet spot to hunt for, mechanically simple and a lot cheaper to live with than the growling Hemi V8 versions. Where you need to keep your eyes open is the touchscreen and electronics, which glitch more often than the engine ever will. But that's a small price for walking up to a car that makes strangers pause mid-conversation. Insurance and parts stay priced like an American sedan too, not a European one, so the savings compound every year you own it. There's something satisfying about watching people try to place the badge, squinting at the grille before they finally spot the Chrysler wing and realize they've been fooled the whole time. Number 7 brings us to a Cadillac with something to prove. Number 7, Cadillac CTS, 2008 to 2014. For decades, Cadillac tried to beat BMW and quietly failed every single time. Soft suspensions, dated interiors, a badge your grandfather loved, and nobody under 50 wanted to be seen in. Then this CTS showed up, and for the first time, German executives actually had to pay attention. That's not marketing spin. This generation was engineered specifically to go toe-to-toe with the BMW 5 Series, with sharp angular sheet metal that still looks aggressive today, and a chassis tuned to actually reward a driver who pushes it. Most shoppers scroll right past Cadillac out of pure habit, and that habit is costing them a serious bargain. Depreciation on this car has been merciless. Original owners often lost more than half its value in the first few years alone, but that collapse is exactly why you're able to step in now and inherit a genuinely sharp-handling sedan for almost nothing. Stick to the V6 models. The high-strung CTS-V is a different, far more expensive animal to maintain. Find one with documented service history and you're driving proof that American luxury eventually grew up. It just took the industry a while to notice. Slide behind the wheel and floor it out of a corner. This isn't a car built to be admired from a distance, it's built to be driven. And that's a rare feeling at this price point. At number 6, a sedan wearing an aggressive face that almost nobody recognizes as a luxury nameplate. Number 6. Acura TL, 2009 to 2014. Most people driving past an Acura TL have no idea what they're looking at. That polarizing shield grille confused reviewers when it launched, but over time it aged into something genuinely bold. A face that looks technical and expensive instead of anonymous. That's the whole appeal of this car. It's a luxury sedan hiding in plain sight. Underneath the sharp styling is straightforward Honda engineering, which means the fragility people assume comes standard, with luxury simply doesn't apply here. Higher trims came with all-wheel drive and a genuinely quick V6, giving you sports sedan thrills that most shoppers never expect to find this cheap. Slide into the driver's seat and the tight panel gaps, the durable leather, the buttons that still feel solid instead of loose. None of it feels like a compromise. There's a specific kind of ownership pride that comes with driving something nobody else recognizes as luxury. You're not chasing the badge everyone already knows. You found the one people miss entirely, and that's a better story to tell at a stoplight than any logo ever will be. Push it into a corner and the chassis actually talks back, something most so-called luxury sedans from this era never bothered to offer. Coming up at number 5, a car built with so much obsession, it nearly bankrupted the company that made it. Number 5. Volkswagen Phaeton, 2004 to 2006. Volkswagen lost billions of dollars building this car because the engineers in charge refused to compromise on anything. They wanted double-paned glass for total silence. They wanted air suspension that floated over broken pavement. They wanted a 12-cylinder engine borrowed straight from Bentley's own lineup, assembled by hand inside a glass factory in Germany where workers wore white gloves. Executives later admitted on the record that the entire project never made financial sense. It was art disguised as a sedan, and the company paid dearly for that ambition. That's why today you can buy genuine Bentley platform engineering for the price of an old Corolla. Climb inside and the wood trim, the thick stitched leather, the near total silence at highway speed. None of it feels like a $7,000 used car. It feels like a mistake someone made in your favor. Yes, there's risk. Parts can be expensive and specialty shops aren't on every corner, so the V6 and V8 versions are the smarter buy over the 12-cylinder flagship. But find a documented example and you're driving one of the greatest financial blunders in automotive history and getting the payoff without any of the pain Volkswagen absorbed to build it. At number 4, a Korean sedan that quietly humiliated the entire luxury establishment. Before we get to the top 3, if you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. We cover the cars dealerships hope you never research. Now, back to the countdown. Number 4, Hyundai Genesis, 2009 to 2014. When this car launched, automotive journalists sat inside it, looked at each other, and asked the same question: how is this a Hyundai? The Genesis was rear-wheel drive, powered by a genuinely smooth V6 or V8, and wrapped in a cabin so quiet and well-isolated that owners routinely compare it to a Lexus GS costing twice as much. That reaction still holds up today. There's a specific kind of quiet confidence that comes from driving a car this good while everyone assumes you're in something ordinary. Ventilated seats, available Lexicon audio, a ride that soaks up highway expansion joints without a shudder. None of it announces itself, and that's the point. The badge doesn't carry prestige on a resale sheet, which is exactly why depreciation has been so unforgiving on this car, and exactly why you're able to buy comfort most drivers assume you'd need a German badge to get. Warranty confidence from Hyundai during this era wasn't marketing fluff. It reflected engineering that genuinely held up over time. You're paying a mainstream sedan tax for a luxury sedan experience simply because of what's written on the trunk lid. Ignore the trunk lid. Ignore what everyone else assumes when they see it in your driveway. You already know something they don't. Number 3 is where things get genuinely emotional. Number 3, Volvo S60, 2011 to 2015. There's a story Volvo doesn't advertise loudly enough. For years, the brand cared so much about protecting the people inside its cars that it gave away its own seatbelt patent to every other manufacturer on Earth for free because saving lives mattered more than the competitive edge. That legacy is baked into every S60 that rolled off the line. This generation finally shed Volvo's old boxy reputation for a sharp, sculpted body that still looks modern today, and IIHS and NHTSA testing from this era consistently praised its structural design and crash protection. But it's not just safety. Slide into the leather seats, and there's a calm, confident feeling that's hard to describe until you've felt it. Nothing about this car is trying too hard, and somehow that restraint makes it more luxurious, not less. The turbocharged 5-cylinder engines are the ones to seek out, entertaining to drive and well documented by independent Volvo specialists. Repair costs sit below German competitors, though parts availability requires a shop that actually knows the brand. What you walk away with is a car that photographs like a European auto show display and quietly means it cared about you before you ever turned the key. It's not the loudest badge on this list, and it never wanted to be. On some of the best luxury is the kind that doesn't need to announce itself. Number 2 is a full-blown Italian exotic wearing a price tag that shouldn't exist. Number 2, Maserati Quattroporte, 2005 to 2008. Close your eyes and imagine this for a second. You turn the key and a Ferrari-built V8 wakes up behind the wheel of a hand-assembled Italian sedan wearing a Trident badge. That sound alone is worth more than most cars on this entire list. The Maserati Quattroporte is a genuine exotic built with the same passion and pedigree as cars costing 10 times more, and today it sits on used lots for less money than a new economy hatchback. Say that out loud again. A Ferrari heart for the price of a beat-up commuter car. Ownership does come with real strings attached. This isn't a car for someone chasing a bargain and hoping for the best. The transmission requires specialist attention, and independent Maserati mechanics, not your local chain shop, are non-negotiable. Budget a real maintenance fund. A few $1,000s a year isn't unusual, and treat that as the cost of admission to an experience mainstream cars simply cannot replicate. Because nothing on this list will make you feel the way this one does the first time you bury the throttle and hear that engine come alive. This is the car for someone who wants to feel something behind the wheel, not just look good in a driveway. Every other car on this list is a smart decision. This one is a love affair, and love affairs were never supposed to be practical. And now, the number 1 car, the one with a depreciation number that will genuinely shock you. Number 1, BMW 7 Series, 2006 to 2011. Here's the number that sums up this entire video. This car cost roughly $92,000 new. Today, clean examples trade for under $9,000. That's not depreciation, that's a financial collapse. And it's the single best opportunity on this entire list. The BMW 7 Series was the brand's technological flagship at the time, packing a V8 or twin-turbo inline-6 adjustable air suspension and a cabin absolutely loaded with tech that felt years ahead of its era. Original owners already absorbed that brutal loss, watching their 6-figure purchase evaporate faster than almost any car ever built. You're stepping in after the collapse, inheriting a sedan that still glides over broken pavement while everyone else in traffic feels every single bump. Picture rolling up outside a restaurant valet in this thing. There's nothing else on this list with the same sheer ostentatious presence. Yes, air suspension components and electronics can get expensive when they fail, so a careful pre-purchase inspection focused on the suspension and cooling system is what separates a smart buy from a nightmare. Find a specialist BMW mechanic instead of a dealership, and your long-term costs drop dramatically. This is the badge that once meant you'd made it. Now it just means you did your homework. And sometimes, the smartest financial decision and the most satisfying one turn out to be exactly the same car. 10 cars, 1 lesson. Luxury isn't about what something costs new, it's about what it looks and feels like the moment you're behind the wheel. Every car on this list proves the same point. With the right research and a proper inspection, you can drive something that looks like real money without spending it. So here's our question for you. Forget reliability for a second. Which one of these would you actually choose if maintenance wasn't a concern? Drop your pick in the comments. And if you've owned one of these cars yourself, tell everyone whether it was a dream or a nightmare. Hit subscribe while you're at it. We cover the vehicles dealerships hope you never research. Coming up next, we're exposing the reliable cars that are secretly costing owners a fortune in hidden repairs. You won't want to miss it.